Thank you, Mr. President. We thank President Dennis Francis for calling this General Assembly meeting pursuant to Resolution 76/262, which mandates the Assembly President to convene a meeting when a veto is cast in the Security Council. The vetoed draft resolution, outlined in document 2024/239, submitted by the United States, contained several positive elements, such as 1. A demand for an urgent need for expanding the flow of humanitarian assistance to civilians in the entire Gaza Strip and lifting of all barriers to the provision of humanitarian assistance at scale in line with Security Council resolutions 2712 and 2720. 2. Rejection of any forced displacement of the civilian population in Gaza in violation of international law, including international humanitarian law and international human rights law. 3. Respect and protection of humanitarian and medical personnel and facilities in accordance with international humanitarian law. And 4. Reaffirmation of an unwavering commitment to the vision of a two-state solution. However, Mr. President, the draft resolution had significant deficiencies. Foremost, it did not call for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. This is imperative. Israel has conducted a relentless and brutal military onslaught on the people of Gaza from the air, land, and sea. It has mercilessly killed over 33,000 Palestinians in Gaza, 70% of them innocent women and children. Israel's military campaign has targeted hospitals, homes, schools, and aid convoys and displaced 2 million Gazans. Israel has impeded humanitarian assistance and attacked humanitarian personnel and aid convoys, literally annihilating the means for human survival in Gaza. It has mounted a slander campaign to shut down UNRWA, the main lifeline for the people of Gaza. The International Court of Justice has framed this brutal Israeli campaign as, I quote, plausible genocide, unquote. It was thus inconceivable that any decision by the UN Security Council would refrain from calling for an immediate ceasefire and cessation of the Israeli military campaign against Gaza and its besieged and devastated people. In addition, the vetoed draft resolution also had several other shortcomings. One, it condemned Hamas only, failing to address Israel's indiscriminate and inhumane military actions and killing of over 30,000 innocent Palestinians. 2, it did not contain reference to the preliminary findings and recommendations of the International Court of Justice, which are binding obligations. And 3, it did not clearly reject or oppose the threatened Israeli ground offensive in Rafah. It is heartening that the failure of this resolution was followed by the adoption by the Security Council of Resolution 2728, sponsored by the non-permanent members of the Security Council, calling for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. Unfortunately, Israel continues to defy this call to observe a ceasefire by the Security Council, whose resolutions are binding and obligatory in accordance with Article 25 of the UN Charter. The UN Security Council must ensure the implementation of its Resolution 2728 through appropriate steps. This could include some of the measures approved by the Arab-OIC Summit in Riyadh, such as imposing a ban on exporting weapons and ammunition to Israel and holding the officials of the Israeli occupation authorities responsible for their crimes against the Palestinians. Mr. President, Pakistan supports the international consensus that the two-state solution and the establishment of an independent state of Palestine with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital is the only plausible path to durable peace in the Middle East. The peace process for the two-state solution must be revived. Apart from members of the Security Council, this process should include the participation of key Arab and OIC countries. Pakistan also supports the application submitted to the Security Council by Palestine for its admission as a full member of the United Nations. This step will make a Palestinian state a political reality and an inevitability. The brutality and bloodshed in Gaza have persisted for too long. They must end now, and their recurrence must be prevented through a durable two-state solution. I thank you, Mr. President.